Hey, welcome to Cap Chat. My name is Josh Tyler. I'm the National College Advisory Program Director for Rush Soccer, and we are here in beautiful, sunny Huntington Beach, California for our College Exposure Camp. This episode we have Joe Lawrence, who's the head women's soccer coach at Lawrence University in Appleton, Wisconsin, which is a Division III school. Joe has worked, so this is his third College Exposure Camp that he's done with us, does a fantastic job, and so we're very happy to have Joe on the show today. Joe, thanks for being here, man. It's good seeing you.
Thank you. No, it's always a good time to come out here and work with you, Josh. So thanks again for having me.
No problem. You did big help at the college exposure camps, and so it's always a pleasure to kind of see you working with the kids. So Lawrence University, NCAA Division III.
Yep, NCAA Division III school, what I would class as a true high academic institution located in the wonderful city of Appleton, Wisconsin, in just right off the Fox Valley River, and it's a beautiful place to live and work, and I'm excited to take on the project of being the new head women's soccer coach there. Okay,
but you're going to come into your third season?
This fall of 2020 will be my third season coaching, what I would class as really my second in terms of recruiting my own student athletes and impacting the culture on the program that myself and my coaching staff are trying to get to.
And you mentioned the Fox River. Is that like a big deal in that area? Like I feel the way you said it, I feel I should know what the Fox River is because I don't have a clue.
It's the Fox River. Appleton is the home of paper. Back in the day, it was a paper mill town. Obviously,
the home of paper, like you're saying, paper started in Appleton.
I don't want to openly say that, but I think probably a lot of the old money in the city came from paper
mills. I think
mills.
they're lying to you. They see an English guy coming over and say, "This is where paper started."
I thought paper was Egypt and papyrus. So maybe all the history books are wrong, but it's an unusual river because it flows from two lakes. It flows from Lake Winnebago into Green Bay, which is obviously that goes into Lake Michigan. So this is becoming a history and geography show.
I know.
I didn't realize. Rush Soccer, you can learn something every day depending on where you get your information from.
We're going to have to put a disclaimer, not really.
It might not be true.
Yeah, not really the home of paper. Well, so Division III, I know there's some misconceptions about Division III, and a lot of people say, well, you have to be super smart, you have to be super rich, or what are some of those misconceptions that you fight with?
I think one of the biggest misconceptions, if you've said you have to be super rich because we don't offer any scholarships, which is not true. We don't offer athletic scholarships, but pretty much every Division III school in the country offers some type of merit award. Lawrence, we are fortunate that we have got an endowment that is very, very large, which enables the university to really support young men and women who have excelled in their high school education to continue their education. We're a school of 1,600 students, and last year, 99% of our students received some type of aid from the institution. That's also, there's also a number of students that the FAFSA and that stuff comes in as well. So we're very, very competitive with our, we have students who get up to around $36,000 from the university for their academic successes in high school. So, and I would say the other big misconception of Division III soccer is it's a step down or it's not serious.
Right.
It's almost like a slight, well, if you just want to go and kick around with your friends and keep the jersey on, which I think is very unfair to the hundreds of Division III athletes. It's the largest population of the NCAA for all sports. It makes up probably about 2/3 of the NCAA, and there are some very, very high-level teams that students have made a conscious decision to go to that and work very, very hard. So when I see that, I get as a Division III coach, I get a little bit fired up and will defend those athletes to that because they're not lesser. They've made a decision that is best for them, and what's important, and these podcasts are going to talk about it, is finding the right fit is so much more important than an athletic scholarship.
Yeah.
You might get an athletic scholarship and hate your experience. Well, you only get to be an undergraduate student one time. And, in terms of being it the first time and having that experience, being 18 to 22, away from home, away from your family and finding yourself. And we want to make sure as college coaches that we get people and they can express themselves and become better than they were when they came into the program.
Yeah, well, that's cool. And so when you talk about the merit, is being involved in a bunch of extracurricular and clubs, does that help with Division III? You get grades, obviously, but the more involved,
Yeah, so, I'll talk specifically about Lawrence. We don't just want people who have just got straight A's.
Yeah.
That doesn't, that's great. But we want people who have played, I have a number of players on my team that are two-sport athletes. I have softball players and soccer players.
And they can play at the same time.
And they can play at the same time.
Nice.
We encourage that, and because what's important at Lawrence and a number of Division III schools is soccer is a part of the experience. It's not the only experience.
Yeah.
We want our student athletes to study abroad. We have a campus in London where about 6 of my team this winter are in London taking classes. I got a text from my team captain yesterday that they want to go up to Manchester, which is a shameless plug. I'm a Go United. They're going to go and see a soccer game. They've never been, but they get to do that in the off season and do that. I have one of my players is going to the Caribbean to do a research project on a coral reef in the spring. These are all things that are enhancing students' experiences, which there's, like I said, there's differences between Division I and Division III, and that what might fit for one student might not fit for another.
Yeah.
But what I really think in terms of Division III students, you can have a wonderful, competitive, and real college athletic experience, but you can also be in an a cappella group. You can also be in student government. You can join a fraternity or a sorority, which sometimes isn't the case when you are a Division I scholarships athlete. They have much more control over your experiences, whereas soccer at Lawrence in particular, and where I was at previously at Augustana College, soccer is a part of your college experience that hopefully leads to a much more fulfilling college experience.
You brought up a cappella group. Is that something you guys are known for as well? Are you in the a cappella group?
I am not in the a cappella group.
Like a barber? Are you in a barbershop quartet?
We are very. Lawrence is. We are also a university and a conservatory as well, and our conservatory is world class. So the musicians that come out of our conservatory are some of the best in the country by the time they leave, and it's some of the pieces that they do is quite remarkable.
You probably have a paper making club. Yeah. The home of paper.
The home of paper. I hope it is the home of paper, so I'm right. Okay, because otherwise my credibility is going to be gone at the end. I'll be a ruined man.
Paper was founded in 1922 in Appleton, Wisconsin, on the Fox River.
Yes.
What's a typical day? I know there's two in season, out of season, but let's talk about in season and what's kind of that day look like for your student athletes.
So we train in the evening. I like to train, as most coaches do, with all of our students there. So we don't have the luxury of training during the day where we can pull people out of classes and things like that, obviously. So we practice for, I like to go 90 minutes, but obviously during the beginning of the year, a couple of hours a day, obviously the same as every other NCAA, we must give a rest day in there, which we like to give on the weekend, so they've got a time to sleep in a little bit and go to the cafeteria a little bit later and then do their homework. We are the conference that we play in is pretty large geographically, so we do have some long road trips where on the weekends we have to travel a long way.
So what's the furthest you'll travel?
So our furthest travel is Illinois College, which is Jacksonville, Illinois, and from Appleton we're talking, it's about 7 hours on a coach. Okay. So we will leave Friday, stay in a hotel, play the game, and then travel back on that evening, which one of the things, again, going with Division III soccer, I'll give a plug again for Lawrence, we do a really good job of not removing our athletes from class to play a sport. So, I've been at Lawrence for 2 seasons now. My student athletes have missed 2 days of class and during the whole season, which is vastly different to, the Division I and Division II and some other Division III. So that's I always talk to families when, if I'm talking to someone who's going to be a biochemist, you need to be in class if you're going to be a biochemistry major. Yeah. If you're missing labs and things like that to play a sport, it's going to make it very, very difficult if you're not in there. So we do our best, again, to, my job is to make students successful. Yeah. You can't be successful if you're missing class or you're getting home from a game at 1 a.m. and your lab starts at 8 o'clock. You're probably not going to be doing your best work at that time. So we really do a good job, I feel, of giving our students the best opportunity to be successful in the classroom.
And one of the things you brought up this weekend at the camp I thought was neat is your environment. It's really set up for kids who are academic focused. And so, for me when I was in Division II, we had mandatory study hours, and you mentioned you don't even have to do study hours because that's the environment that is there.
Yes. again, I go back to the word finding the right fit. If you are a student who is academically focused and you enjoy the freedom of studying when you want to do that, then high-level Division III schools are going to be perfect for you, because you're going to be surrounded by young men and women who want to get good grades and do that.
Yeah.
I was a student who I would have really struggled in that environment. I wasn't, I got my degree, but it was a part of...
obviously, because you thought paper wasn't
yes, obviously,
in Appleton, Wisconsin.
Yes, Appleton, Wisconsin. So we didn't have much history class. But, it's an opportunity which also says, but again, then you can also take a student who maybe got a 3.3 in high school, and you then pop them in that environment, and you say to the families, we're going to support, because we're going to be so around, and the culture is do your homework and go to class. And again, I go back to finding the fit where you can be the most successful student.
So, I mean, the environment is studying. So now you maybe go from a high school team or club team that they don't care about academics quite as much, but or maybe some aren't that focused on soccer. Now you focus on grades and get focused on soccer. So I mean, there is that is an exciting, I think, environment for kids. Like you said, there are a lot of kids that want that academic life, and I'm as much like you. I just wanted to play.
Yes, and that's I always say, like, I am my women who I coach are far more intelligent than I was, and probably still am. But what is so cool about it is that we have got 5 applied math majors in our program. We've got a number of biochemistry majors. We've got some physicists. And last year our team GPA was 3.5. Plus they're playing soccer and doing those things. Plus they're involved in camps. So it's such a cool thing. And as a coach, that's not me. That's the players who are doing that and staying up late and getting up early and being organized. And that's what college athletics is about. And people take away what young men and women across the country do and dismiss it as easy because they're college athletes, they get things. No, they work so hard. And oftentimes, and Lawrence is the case, our student athletes are often retaining better at universities. They're getting better grades than the students who are not involved in NCAA athletics. And ultimately, you want to pick a school that's right. You want to have a good experience. You want to graduate in 4 years and then go out and make a success of your life, whatever you choose that to be. And college athletics does a really good job of doing that for men and women all over the country.
Yeah. Man, that's cool. That's well said, and it's great insight about Division III, because I do think Division III is people don't quite grasp it. So
and historically, that's what it's again. It's about enhancing the experience of students, and you can still be competitive, and you better believe that when I'm coaching and I'm recruiting you, we want to win conference championships. We want to play in the national tournament. We want to score goals and keep shutouts and win. Yeah. Winning it's not about taking part. My women and our football team and our tennis teams, they're there to win. Yeah. And just because they're not on an athletic scholarship doesn't make them any less competitive.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, awesome, man. And I appreciate you helping with these college exposure camps, and I appreciate you being here, and thanks for taking the time to chat today.
It's a pleasure. Anytime. Thanks for having me on.
All right, man.